Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. It's been a while since I've done one of these in-depth tutorials. I've actually been gone for a month on holiday and I'm still a little bit jet lagged from all of that. I just landed back home 2 days ago and my nails look horrific. Like, they've been through it. This one is the one that I've done like 5 weeks ago before I left, and they're really grown out. These are my natural nails, by the way. They're all my natural nails. They did not survive, especially this one. This one broke off on the airplane back home, and I actually packed all my nail things. All the products that I packed were products I was not used to using. I never used them before, so I didn't know how they were gonna be effective. And obviously, I did one hand and they turned out like this. So they didn't last at all and I'm really disappointed, but I should have just like left them alone, dealt with them when I came back home. So anyways, we're gonna go back to extensions and I'm gonna cut off these beautiful long babies. I'm going back to this long stilettos that I used to do, and I wanna break everything down really easily and tell you guys all the products I use so it can be more beginner friendly for you. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let me know and let's get into the tutorial.
I am so excited to get into this tutorial because I've been thinking about what kind of designs to do all of my trip, and this is gonna be my last summer set technically, so I need to go all out. But like I said before, I kind of want to go back to the basics and teach you guys really beginner friendly in a beginner friendly way. I feel like I've gotten to do a lot more advanced designs on this channel, and as much as I love doing really complex nail art and breaking them down, of course I'm going to go back to those advanced nail art as well. But today is going to be quite simple. It's going to be some Frenchies with polka dots, and I'm going to break down each step like I told you guys. So I'm using my e-file at quite a high speed. I'll show you guys later. It's around 22,000 RPMs. And I'm also going in with my removal bit, which is called Gel X, and it's by the brand called Erica's ATA. And I really recommend their brand because these nail drills or the nail bits are gonna last you a long time. Also, I want to mention, if you guys are starting with bare nails and you're just gonna extend with Gel X, then you can skip this removal section of the video and just go right into the nail prep, which I'm gonna stamp down below so you guys can just skip it. So back to the removal. Every time I try to do a removal with my builder gel, since builder gel can't be soaked off, I try to drill 90% of the product down so that it's almost reaching my natural nails and I can see the product and I can see everything that's beneath and all the liftings. It's really important that you shave enough of the product so you can check on your natural nails and the color of it and the condition to make sure that there is no greenies and there are no liftings. And I usually leave around 10% of that product, so you guys can see there's slightly still some gel on my natural nails, but that's completely fine if it doesn't interfere with the nail glue, which it doesn't if you just leave 10% and there's no liftings, then there's no issues. Anyways, I'm also going in with my nail file and kind of smoothing the edges. This next step is probably the most important step in getting your nails to last a really long time. This is a 240 grit sanding band. You can get them on Amazon or Shein for really cheap, but basically it's important that it's 240 grit because the higher the number, the finer and the more gentle the sanding band is. So this is very safe to use on your natural nails, and it gives the right amount of texture. And a lot of people rely too much on the nail glue and the dehydrator and the primer and the whole set of the products, but this is actually what matters the most to get texture on every single area of that nail plate. And make sure you're going at a slow speed of 5,000 RPMs max and really getting in those corners, especially around the cuticle where you get the most liftings. And this should basically be the recipe for very long retention. And as some of you guys know, I'm not using a primer and I don't really like to use a primer. All you need is gel nail glue and dehydrator for that retention to be amazing. So the last step of nail prep is cuticle care, and I'm going in with this rounded tapered barrel cuticle bit, and I'm going at a speed of 6,000 RPMs, and the speed really depends on you and the nail bit that you're using, but I really like this nail drill bit because it's super gentle on your cuticles. It's not pointy at all, and you can really take your time and go around the cuticles to lift that dead skin off of your natural nail plate. And this step is actually really crucial to having your nails, your extensions, last a long time as well, because like I said, most liftings happen around the cuticle area, and you just need it to be super clean and strip it everything off, like every dead skin that might cause those liftings. Some people like to use multiple different cuticle bits to do the job and get the pocket lifted around your cuticle, but for me, I only need one cuticle bit to do the job, so I'm going straight in with the cuticle nippers. Like I said in my other videos, every cuticle is different, so get to know your cuticles, and this is gonna take time and skill and practice to really know how sensitive your cuticles are, where not to nip it and where to nip it. But a general guideline is wherever there is flaky white skin is usually dead skin, so it's safe to nip that off. And obviously it's gonna hurt if you nip too much, so that's a clear sign that you've overdone it. And after this, I will be spraying some sanitizing alcohol to disinfect everything, all my nails, all my cuticles. And if this step hurts for you or burns, then you definitely did something wrong with the cuticle care, and you probably overfiled or overnipped your cuticles. So if it doesn't burn, then you did a great job, and probably your extensions are gonna last if they look as clean as this. Moving on to the Gelix application, I'm going to grab my gel nail glue and my dehydrator. This is a no brand since I'm testing out some samples that I received, but one brand that I recommend using for the dehydrator is the Model 1's dehydrator. I will link it down below for you guys on my Amazon storefront. I definitely highly recommend that. But basically, dehydrator is just concentrated alcohol. And what this does is strip your natural nails of all the oils that are going to interfere with the glue. So you want your nails basically to look crusty and dusty. And that's a really good sign that your Gelix is going to last. And I'm going in with my gel nail glue and applying a thin layer. This is a kind of side note, but the gel nail glue that you use, whatever brand it is, it doesn't really matter the brand, but more the consistency of the gel. And most gel nail glues that I've tried from many different brands, they've all worked. If you're struggling with retention, then the problem doesn't lie in the products that you're using, most likely, but more the prep of the nails. So try to improve on the nail prep area, and you will see a big change in how long your Gelix lasts. I always use the Appraise brand for any extensions that I use. This is the long sculpted almond that I'm using, and I'm buffing the inside of the extension to give it the same texture with the 240 grit sanding band. This is going to help the glue really grip onto the extension as well as the nail. And yeah, again, everything I do is for the sake of retention and for the cleanliness of the result. You want your nails to look snatched, and you want them to last 4 to 5 weeks. So that's the goal here. And as you're applying the glue, this is going to take a few tries. If you're a beginner, you might be applying too much glue or not enough glue. And this is going to take a few tries, but once you get this down, this will be the fastest part of the whole nail process. So basically, you're going to apply a thin layer of that nail glue onto the extensions, and then add a few more drops at the edge of the extensions. Apply it at a 45-degree angle and slowly pushing it down as the glue meets the edge of your natural nail, and then you're going to cure it for 25 seconds. I have this gooseneck lamp that is really helpful for curing that, and then I put it into the big lamp at the end. Now that everything is cured and everything has been applied, I'm gonna go in with my 240 grit sanding band again and add that same texture. This sanding band, as you can see, I'm using it a lot in my nail process. It's probably my most used tool. It's very efficient and it kind of speeds you up a little bit because you don't need to be using a nail file or a buffer. So I feel like I've gotten a lot faster with doing nails by using the e-file where I can and kind of taking advantage of this. It saves me a lot of energy for sure. But anyways, I'm kind of blending in those extensions into my cuticle area. As you can see, I'm going around it. And if you want to be fancy, you can also use a ceramic bit to kind of perfect it and really blend everything in seamlessly into the natural nail so they actually look like your natural nail. I don't know how to describe this, but this process is called sealing the cuticle. And right before I go in with my finishing touch, I'm gonna go in with my nail file and make sure that the shape is crisp. And I'm kind of going for a stiletto / skinny almond. And once I like the shape the way it is, I'm just kind of brushing up the details. And I'm grabbing some acetone and a brush and dipping it into that pot and then applying it around the cuticle area. Like I said, this is called sealing the cuticle, and the acetone melts the plastic into the natural nail, so this really helps with preventing liftings and your extensions from popping off. So the hardest part of this whole process is probably over, and we're gonna go into the fun part, which is design or the gel itself. And I'm going in with a base coat, a thin layer, and I'm making sure everything is blended in and smooth. I like to do this process even though it's optional because it just kind of makes a good clean foundation for whatever nude base you're gonna put on, which leads me to mention that the nude base gel that I'm gonna be using is a builder gel, and I do this on myself every time. I think this is a little bit of a unique process in my nail journey, and a lot of people just go in with sheer nude gels, like just regular gels, but I like to go in with a builder gel because it adds that like density and clean snatched look that I like. But this is very optional as well. I just like to go in with a builder gel. So I'm using the Beetles builder gel in shade D57, I think, and this shade is just so beautiful. It matches my skin tone perfectly, and as you can see, I'm applying it in a very thick layer. This way I don't have to go in 3 times with a thin layer of gel. I will mention that this is a advanced technique in Gel-X, or even builder gel is like a very advanced technique. You need to be able to control the gel where you want it to go. So if you're not there yet, just use a regular gel polish nude color that you have and go in with as many layers as you want, 3 layers or more. I usually only go with 2 or 3 layers, but the thing that I love about builder gel is I only need 1 proper layer, and it just kind of cuts down time and effort for me. For those of you who want to learn the builder gel application more in detail, then please go check out my other videos. I've done tutorials on just focusing on builder gel and how to apply it. So builder gel can be a tricky product to get started with, but once you know how to use it, it's truly a lifesaver because you can grow out your natural nails with builder gel, and you can create beautiful shapes and extensions with builder gel as well. So I really encourage you to take that step and learn how to use builder gel. With a lint-free pad and some alcohol, I'm wiping off the stickiness of that layer after I've cured everything, since I'm gonna be going in with some Frenchies, so I'm just prepping them for the nail art to come. The shade I'm gonna be using is like this cool tone blue that is super summery, And I'm also going in with a chocolate brown color that's almost like black, but it still looks like brown a little bit. I just love the combination of these two colors. And in some cases, depending on the brand that you're using, you might only have to do the French line once. But in this case, the gel wasn't pigmented enough. I had to go in with 2 layers, which is completely fine. I do this quite often. But I recommend using the Beetles brand if you just want to have really pigmented gels that you only have to do 1 layer. I really like that brand and the gel colors that they have. But anyways, I recommend using a thin long brush for the Frenchie process. I've mentioned in other videos how using a thin liner brush for the French line really helps with the precision of the line. You only want to be using short line brushes if you're going in with like detailed nail art. But yeah, my big advice in getting better at the French line and the symmetry of everything is using a long, thin line brush. And as you can see, as I'm doing this process, I'm resting my hand on a very stable surface and I'm moving my finger to help myself get and reach all the corners, to get sure I get all the angles and make sure everything is perfect with the smile line. So those things are pretty important in getting the perfect Frenchie. This French line that I'm doing is pretty thick compared to the usual Frenchies that I do. The thinner the Frenchies are, I feel like the more classic they are. But since I'm going for like a cutesy vibe, a summer vibe, I want a lot of the blue. So I'm going in with like a thicker, flatter French line. But this is really up to you and your preference. Now that I've finished the first layer, I'm gonna go in with a second layer, and you guys can see the color is a lot more visible with the second layer. And the second layer tends to be a lot faster since you already have the outline of the Frenchies. So this step is all about perfecting it and making the color pop a little bit more. I'm going in with my acetone brush to clean up where I got some gel on my skin. I really recommend getting some acetone and a brush to clean up and make the lines perfect. So now I'm gonna start working on the polka dots, and I'm going in with my dotting tool. You can get this literally anywhere. If you search up dotting tool, you can get this. And I'm trying to focus on the fact that I want all the dots to be the right size and the same size. I feel like my OCD is gonna like freak out with different sized dots. And I feel like this was a lot harder than I expected it to be because everything had to be symmetrical. And obviously it doesn't have to be perfect, but I was kind of like freaking out about like not getting it symmetrical. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I messed up with the dots and I went in with the acetone and a brush to clean it up. And it's actually really easy to start over. It's a really fast process if you get the hang of it. So you guys can make the dots smaller or bigger the way that you like it, but this is just how they came out to be. I was a little nervous when I saw the first finger, but seeing everything perfect and like put together, I really like the polka dots. And now I'm going in with some solid gel. This is like a white solid gel. and I'm gonna create a flower mold on the ring finger, and I'm kind of rolling those solid gel up into a ball and then applying it onto my nail. And I'm using this silicone tool to flatten the petal and create the perfect shape that I want. You can really take your time with this. The best thing with gel is it doesn't cure until you put it into the lamp, so you can try as many times as you want. And there are some easy tutorials on how to create different flower petals on TikTok, on YouTube, literally everywhere. It's kind of like a big trend right now to do the hyper realistic flowers on your nails. So I felt like this is like a must-have on a summer nail, and it gives a little bit something, like a hint of something summery on this polka dot Frenchies. So yeah, just watch me do this flower mold. Now I'm going in with some jelly like translucent yellow gel that I got from Born Pretty, and I'm kind of dabbing it into the middle of the flower to make it look like a flower. It can be any color, honestly. I feel like pink would also look cute. And I'm applying a little cute silver charm on the middle to make it a centerpiece, and that's the finished look for the design. And now comes the most important part of finishing a design, is the top coat. My favorite glossy top coat is the Cuticles one. I've been using this for over a year, and it makes the nails look snatched and clean at the end. I feel like a top coat is really important, and the way you apply it is also very important. Make sure that it's not thick and globby and like sliding everywhere. You want it to be a thin and clean layer. And you can even cure one finger each and get that perfect top coat shine. But I've kind of gotten used to applying top coat, so I'm just going to apply everything and then cure it in the big lamp at the end. Some other top coats that I also like is the Appraise top coat. I also know some, but I forgot the name. But anyways, just test out different top coats. But definitely my favorite is the Cuticles one. If you've stayed until this point, thank you so much for watching the whole entire video. I love you guys. Thank you for requesting these videos all the time. I love making them. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment down below, and I'll be seeing you guys in the comment section. Love you, and see you in my next video.